as the sides emerge for the second half. And what a comeback by the coach. Carl Harrison came back to the country on Monday after fulfilling a lifetime ambition. He's been riding a Harley Davidson the length of Route 66 in America, from Chicago to Los Angeles via places like Tulsa, Albuquerque and Amarillo. And he said it has been the trip of a lifetime. Mind you, while his side were away, they didn't manage to win a game. They lost 2 and drew 1, but he's come back, and his side at half-time are ahead by 28 points to 6. He's been getting his kicks on Route 66.
Well, it looks like a bit of a biker, Bill.
Oh, he is. He's very proud of his Harley. He's a hog, you know. He's a member of the Harley Davidson owners group, the Air Valley one. And he and 6 friends rode the route, or the route, as they say.
I bet he looks well. Head to toe in black leather, Carl Harrison. That's all you need, that vision, isn't it?
I tell you what, he had an enormous biker beard as well for the trip, just to round off the look. That's a high shot, and Halifax immediately conceding a penalty.
Well, you don't want this straight away, straight from the kick-off. Mick Gobbin going high on Tootle, giving a penalty away, and you look for a bit of direction at half-time off your coach. I'm not sure whether Matt Callum would have been able to give him direction, because he would have been going off his head. They've missed 12 tackles, they made 8 errors, they've given 7 penalties away, and they've only made 3 offloads. If you look at the way that Batley have been playing, that Batley seem to be working for each other and defensively coming up with the effort and pushing up in support.
Suspicion of a forward pass there as Batley are on the attack. Hanforth now. Good run from Lindsay. Lindsay right up the middle of the field. He's got support from Lythe. Lythe, has he got the strength? He hasn't. And Bezic back to make a crucial tackle for his side. But immediately, Batley are on the tackle. And the play the ball was incorrect from Lindsay. In fact, there was obstruction there. Desperate to capitalise on that play the ball. And that opportunity goes begging.
Was it Chris Lythe who tries to get up and play the ball? But Ash Lindsay is absolutely ripping Halifax to shreds. And this is what Ian Priest was saying before the game. He was saying that it's really hard in the second half. It's okay going down the hill when you've got the ball, but if you've got to defend, you've got to turn and you've got to run up the hill. And that's what takes a lot of energy away from you.
Gleeson makes the run, gets the penalty, high shot on him. It was from Mark Toohey, one of the try scorers in the first half for this Batley side.
Well, Mark Toohey was the enforcer in the first half, and again he set out to be the enforcer in the second half. This is what Halifax need to do. They need to get out and they need to play with a bit of speed around the ruck. They've got to suck in the real big guys and laterally test them.
Here's one of the big guys, Neil Cherryholm, a long-time Bradford Bulls junior. In fact, was their reserve player of the year in 2008, Cherryholm, but never made the breakthrough at the Bulls. He's become an increasingly important figure in this Halifax side this season. Ben Black now. Bezic, they need a good start to this second half to Halifax, and Haley was trying to give it to them there with that run in field. They're still on the attack here now. They are in, are they, with Lada? They are! The try they desperately needed at the start of this second half, right in front of those Halifax supporters. And has the fight back started from Matt Callan's side. Dave Larder gets his 7th try of the season.
This all came about from 2 penalties, this being the latest one. Mark Toohey, too high with his tackling technique, good pass selection, and Penkovitz's pass puts Dave Larder into a one-on-one pass, a one-on-one tackle. And Paul Hanforth cannot control Dave Larder, and he just bangs that ball down, getting Halifax back in the game. They need to maintain this momentum with the slope with them.
So Lee Patterson, one of the top goal kickers in the competition, kicked 12 in that massive win against Batley earlier in the season, on target with that, and 28-12 the scoreline. Let's go down to the sidelines and get some half-time news then from both camps with Ben.
Halifax confident, Bill, that they could turn this round, so a great start for Matt Callan's men, but they've got real problems off the pitch. Anthony Bowman, the 17-year-old, has ruptured a ruptured quad injury, and the early signs are that he could be out for between 6 and 12 weeks. Syed Tamgart's injury, not so serious. He had a cut above the right eye that required 3 stitches at half-time. As for Batley, the motorcycle ride certainly given Carl Harrison some calm in his life. He was the picture of serenity in that dressing room at half-time. He just said they had to be a bit more patient defensively.
First movement!
Not to panic. That'll be the message from the coach. Halifax are bound to come out fired up at the start of this second half.
He asks a lot, doesn't he, Bill? Be a bit more patient defensively. They've absolutely controlled the speed of the game in that first half.
But Halifax trying to step it up now, and Bezic eventually driven back towards his own try line. Live, and Tootle with the tackle. But they're playing this ball quickly. They're quick off the mark, these Halifax players. All of a sudden there's speed as Govin goes on a darting run. There's a Batley player down in back play at the moment. Can they capitalise here as Penkovic puts the kick over the top and Hanforth gathers it, and a calm head, Paul Tiger Hanforth in the middle of all that frenzy. It's Tui who's back on his feet.
Bob Bezic, when he played that ball, beat the tacklers. They drove him backwards, wasting about 4 or 5 seconds. But sometimes you can lose the collision, but still win the floor. That passage of play, those quick dummy half scoots, all came about from Bob Bezic.
I think Mark Tui has actually had to leave the field. He got back on his feet, but he's gone, and Chris Buttery, I think, has come on to replace him. So I said there were going to be some bumps and bruises here tonight, and I think Lindsay's got one there. He fell awkwardly, just hobbling as he got back to play the ball. Tui has got a cut. Bumps and bruises, well, you wouldn't expect anything other than that in a game of this significance for these two sides. The clock running down on their seasons. Royston, there is Tui, cut on his nose. Looks genuine.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It's only a little trickle.
Chicks dig scars.
Wait, go.
When in Rome, Tez.
Here's Black. Lada, the try scorer in this second half. Man of the match last time out on Sky Sports. Gleeson now. Good strong run from Maloney.
That's better work from Halifax. Now look, every time an acting half like Bob Bezic, Mark Gleeson gets behind the road, they really start looking up and they're looking to probe and come up with an attacking play. Again, Penkovic putting that little kick through and putting pressure on. But Batley stood really strong. And again, they're bringing it back. And again, it's Ash Lindsay, the ball carry forward Batley.
Hold.
Batley don't have to rush this. They can afford to play at their own pace if they want. They've got points in the bank.
But I think Carl Harrison at half-time would have said, just carry on doing what you're doing. Frustrating Halifax. Once Halifax give penalties away, what's their transition like? We'll get to see on this occasion, but Mark Roberts, no doubt about it, he has his left arm around that ball. Just because he doesn't grip the ball doesn't mean he doesn't dislodge it.
Halifax looking to recapture the away form that stood them so well at the early part of the season. They've won 5 of 8 away games, but they've actually lost 3 of the last 4. Those defeats at Gateshead, Widnes and Sheffield. So a little bit flaky on the road as well.
Dominic Maloney trying to come in for a big shot then. Chris Buttery it was for Batley, who felt the weight of that. Another drop ball, another error. This time it goes in the favour of Halifax, and Tootle has knocked the ball on.
Strengthen the tackle, and Mark Roberts all over him. Referees stop the clock.
No penalties, heads in, Bob it in.
So Halifax have possession, but deep in their own half. Patterson.
The referee were actually telling Halifax the way to play. He said, no daft penalties, lads. I think they do well to follow that advice.
Goddard plays the ball. Here's Maloney. Dominic Maloney started the season at Hull after a good move for him, but wasn't able to break through. now here on loan, having been in this part of the world originally. Dewsbury, of course, where he did make a name for himself. Now Tamgart has lost that ball, and penalty again. And Batley just feeling the pressure a little bit here now.
Again, it was Chris Light. He had his hand in. Tangart's trying to get up to play that ball, and he just couldn't pull his arm free. Obviously, if he would have made a big attempt to rip his arm, it would have been a penalty either way. But it's the speed again. Halifax and Black, this is how you come onto a ball. There might not be much of him, but he's a big, strong, aggressive runner, Roberts, when he gets hold of it.
Mark Roberts plays the ball. Gleeson now. Here is Tamgart again, and is this Halifax physicality going to start to wear down this Batley Bulldog side? Another try here, and Halifax would really scent a massive comeback on the cards. Another penalty, not standing square.
No quick restarts.
Referee Thomason just asks Bob Bezic to be patient. Difficult in these conditions, in this sort of situation. The Halifax supporters behind those posts, urging their side on. Gobbin trying to oblige, but good defence that time from Batley. Chris Buttery it was with the tackle.
Go.
How long can they hold out here? Maloney, shoulder to the wheel for his side. And again, he is stopped just short of the try line.
Line.
Batley right on their own try line. Gleeson. And again, they keep the ball alive, and Gleeson dives through for the try. And eventually the pressure tells. And Mark Gleeson gets his 11th try of the season. He started it really, and he finished it.
It's penalties that will cost these two teams. The two markers not standing square. Penkovic tries to play the ball as quick as he could, and Batley can't get square at marker. Gleeson just bobbles it, gives it to Roberts, but stays alive. Robert gives it back to him. And Johnny Campbell, who made a good defensive play in the first half, he's guilty of my man defence. He looks at him, he looks at the winger, looks at his player, and he thinks, I'll get him when he catches the ball. But Gleeson, with all the experience in the world, puts a nice neat dummy and gets the ball down.
Experience gained in his long time at Warrington Wolves, of course, 9 seasons at Warrington, and he only joined Halifax last summer. That's a big move for the club, signing him. Big kick this for Lee Patterson. This to narrow the gap. 2 from 2 for him so far, but there were a lot easier kicks than this one. He's missed with that one. But 28 points to 16 now. And Halifax heading in the right direction. And Batley, their backs to the wall really now.
Mark Gleeson is a real attacking threat. Every time he has hold of the ball, he stays alive. He's aware that Roberts can get that one-on-one. He pushes off, and Gleeson just dummies his way over. But if you look now with the way that Halifax are playing, they're trying to create those quick play the balls, because they know they've got people like Bob Bezic, Ben Black, Penkovic, Gleeson, all who've got real speed off the mark, and that is what's really going to trouble Batley if they don't start controlling the speed of which Halifax are playing the ball.
Tamgart on the charge. Well, Halifax know all about comebacks. Just a couple of weeks ago, they were 44-10 down against Whitehaven on their own patch, and they came back. They didn't win it, but they came back and got it mighty close. 42-50, they lost that one. So they can do it. This time they need to do it and get the win. Bonus point no good for them tonight. If they're to finish in that top spot. Sorry, Barry.
There's a marked difference between Halifax when they carry the ball forward. Saeed Tamgart of the kick-off, he ran forward and actually bolted a player out the way, and Dominic Maloney. They're running with real purpose, Halifax.
Oh, Black's kick is knocked on by Royston.
Tackle, turnover.
The thought was there, just couldn't control it as it came down.
But they're starting to make a real contest of it. Here's Saeed Tamgart. There's only going to be one winner if you run as aggressively as that. But everything now is a contest. They're trying to turn the Batley players on the back. Whether the ball goes up in the air, they're still trying to jump and put pressure on the Pricks. And look at that. The pressure from Tamgart coming off the line. The Batley player had a little look up. It was Byron Smith who saw Tamgart come flying. Oh, no, it's not for me this time, Mr. Tamgart. He tried to use his feet, but
Call me Matt.
No wonder you use your feet there with Tangart coming at you. I think I would have run through saying, your ball.
Tell you what, there are 4 more Tamgarts. He's got 4 brothers, Saeed Tamgart. And I met some of them in Toulouse the other week. They were at the Halifax game, and they're all as big as Saeed.
Well, the championship will be hoping that they all don't want to come over and play over here.
They're in again, are they? Halifax, Roberts trying his luck, but just short of the try line. Plays that ball. Bezic. Penkovic trying to worm his way through the Batley defence. It's all Halifax now. That ball's come loose. It was knocked on, and that is a very, very kind decision from Matt Thomason, and Sean Penkovic agrees.
I think that's the correct decision. He's trying to offload this ball. He's got it in 2 hands. But there is a tension there from Byron Smith. All right then, I changed my mind.
You're allowed to do that. But that's not the way the referee saw it, and Batley are allowed to bring the ball away. They had the head and feet at that scrum. Here's Campbell, made that great tackle in the first half to deny Haley the try. But Batley really in the second half have hardly seen the Halifax danger zone.
It's a lonely place when you're at the bottom of that hill with 5 tackles to go, and you know you've got to get as far up the hill as you can.
It's a good deep kick from Hanforth, but Shad Royston, once a Batley player, is there to field it. 1 or 2 boos, just as a welcome back message for Shad Royston from his former supporters. Larder now.
He was trying to steal that ball.
He was, wasn't he?
Mark Barlow had a good grip on it, but just couldn't get it off him.
Patterson struggles to get to his feet. It was Barlow again with the tackle. Here's Larder. Good driving run from him. Runs into Byron Smith.
And it's just simple plays in and around the ruck. Look at Gleeson. He looks up and he's always looking at who he can get at, who's slow going back.
Here is Mark Roberts. Does that so well, doesn't he? Bounces off the first defender. Well, he's bounced off quite a few then, but he's bouncing backwards at the moment.
He is so strong, isn't he? He goes in, he uses their weight, he bounces off, he looks back, he puts the ball in one hand and tries to promote it.
Ben Black now. Black, scampering run from him. Goddard, forward, cry the Batley supporters. On the last now. Black finds Gleeson. Little chip ahead from Gleeson. It's a good one, and Campbell's going to be under pressure. He's under great pressure. Can he get out of trouble? He can. What work from Johnny Campbell? Can he stay on the field?
Good work by Campbell, but good pressure by this Halifax side. And again, look at the speed that they're getting off the line.
Johnny Campbell with a whole host of Halifax players trying to trap him. Very brave.
Of course, Batley missing their potent try scorer Jermaine McGilvray, injured at the moment. Lindsay, could this be an unwise move? Flirting dangerously with the touchline there, Lindsay. Here's Daryl Cardis, the most experienced player in this Batley side, once of Halifax. Cardis slowly to his feet to play the ball. On the last, Hanforth with the kick, straight into the arms of Haley, and Haley, Campbell is there to make the tackle. Good chase from Batley.
And again, they're receiving the ball in real good territory because they're working so hard in defence. They've got to make sure they retreat now, get behind the ball and bring it forward, because the enthusiasm of the forwards, the Halifax team in this second half, has really got them back into this game.
They've managed really to stem the points at the moment, Batley. At least for the moment, but Halifax on the attack again. Here is Black playing with that arm problem that must be restricting him a bit. Royston needed to be a good tackle. On the last now, Black. Bezic, cross-field kick. Campbell will be under pressure, and Campbell takes it. Now then, has he got the pace? He has! Johnny Campbell is away! Now then, has Patterson got the pace? Look at Penkovic! Penkovic is chasing him down! Patterson is coming across! They'll make the tackle! What a great chase that was from Sean Penkovic and from Lee Patterson. But Batley haven't finished yet, and the penalty goes to Batley, and they're appealing they're appealing that a Halifax player should be sent to the bin.
I think it's Lee Patterson. I think it's Lee Patterson who's been penalised, but Johnny Campbell, everybody in the Batley Stadium willing him on.
I need to speak to Sky. This isn't working. Time off.
Well, Matt Thomason just asking for a bit of assistance from one of the sound engineers on the sidelines.
The communication isn't working.
Just not communicating at the moment, but in the meantime, Campbell catching his breath after that run.
He does well to catch this ball, and talk about transition. A bit of a goose step and he's away. You think halfway, 60 metres, 70 metres, he's got it. He just starts to run out of gas, steps back inside. But there's 3 Halifax players. Look at his face there. 3 Halifax players in the screen. And Patterson, does he just jump the gun? I think that's where the penalty comes from. Just jumps out from marker. Fraction of a second too soon.
Still waiting for the referee to get wired for sound. There he goes.
Yeah, it's come back.
That was what was penalised, but what a chase it was from Lee Patterson and from Sean Penkovic. And Carl Harrison hoping his side have weathered the storm here. Still looking pretty laid back, as you would be after you've spent 3 weeks on the back of a Harley. Sleeping under the stars.
Whether he'll be quite enjoying yourself,
sounds like a fantastic ride, that does. Whether he's going to be quite so relaxed at the end of this evening, well, we've got the last quarter of the game to find out. Matt Calland not looking quite so calm and relaxed, but must be a little bit more confident that his side can overhaul their opponents here, but they could do without Batley getting more points on the board. It's going to make life harder. They need to defend their line really for the first time in this second half. Chris Lythe for Stenchen. 3 tackles gone. Batley just happy to have Halifax up at that end of the field. Hanforth. Lindsay now. Lindsay taking him on himself. Black with the tackle. Well, he has got an arm problem. It doesn't appear to be affecting his tackling technique there. His Stenchen once again in front of those posts. Would Hanforth go for a point, get something while they're up that end? No, they're going to go for everything they can, and Lythe has gone for it. But that'll be the turnover.
Chris Lythe thought he'd catch the markers unaware there, but they were set. They knew what he was going to do. They knew that if Batley get a quick play, the ball, Lythe will go exactly the same as the Halifax players are going. But now, defensively, the first half, they were so strong. They've got to come up with some kind of defence qualities again. Again, Roberts, he's like a pinball. You cannot get the little guy down.
I know there's a long way to go. We've still got a quarter of the game to go, but maybe a point there for Batley, because in this sort of contest, every point is going to help.
It is, Bill, but I think Halifax are going to score a couple of tries in these last 60 minutes.
Well, they need to score
20
3.
Minutes, sorry.
Or score 3 times anyway. Larder takes the tackle, it's the 4th. Maloney now. And the crowd holding their breath as Halifax come forward again. And Black looks for a 40-20, hasn't got the angle on it. Cardis funnels back to cut off the danger. And then brings the ball back.
Stand! Hold. Go.
Well, Super League to come this weekend, and if it's either of the games lives up to this, then it's going to be a great weekend. St Helens against Huddersfield. That's at 7:30 on Friday. And Sunday, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 2, Castleford Tigers against the Wigan Warriors. An important game in the race for playoff places in Super League here. This is a vital game, not only as far as the playoffs go, but also as survival goes for the Batley Bulldogs. Good work from Stenchen. Good run, taking his side over the halfway line. That's the 5th tackle. Hanforth, they're running it on the last. Mennell, they get the ball wide here. Priest has got men outside him. He's got great support from Morn. Has Morn got the legs? What a tackle that was. What a tackle from Shad Royston. And the plaudits deservedly go to the full-back, Shad Royston. Well, he plays around the park, he plays in the centre, he plays at loose forward, he prefers playing at full-back, and who'd question that judgment?
It's Paul Anferth's decision to run with this ball that is the correct one. But Shad Royston, when he makes that tackle, saves a certain 4 points. I didn't like the attention that he gave Morn after he'd made that tackle, but maybe that's just how pumped up he is and just how relieved he were for his team.
Well, to be fair, he's caught up in the emotion, isn't he? He knows that if Batley would have scored that try then, the game was probably over, but he's give Halifax a lifeline now.
But Batley having the best spell of the second half, or their best spell of the second half here. That's a couple of times they've threatened the line, but it's Halifax trying to break the line now. Larder almost got that ball away to Goddard, who was steaming up in support. Now here's Tamgart, and Tamgart runs into good defence from Luke Stenchen. Forward they come again. Bezic this time puts the kick in, and it's gobbled up by Chris Lythe. It rebounded off Lythe's shins, I think, and he did well to go up for that goalkeeper style.
But Halifax have gone away from what got them back into the game, and what got them back into the game was speed around the ruck, target the tight defenders either side. Bezic trying to put the ball through, Chris Lythe blocked it, and he was aware, and his transition to look from defence into attack to catch that ball. But they've got to come up with them players around the ruck. They've got the people to get back into the game. There's no point going wide.
Here's Byron Smith, who started it all really in this game, got the first try of the night for his side, gave Batley belief. Hanforth puts the kick in, into the corner, back goes Patterson, and Patterson very calmly shepherds that one dead, but that'll do for Batley. That's where they want him.
Paul Anferth, who I said before has spent the majority of his career in this division, knows what it takes to win a game. Percentage rugby league. He just puts the ball in a difficult position, and Halifax have to make a decision. He's been very important in the back end of the first half and the opening 25 minutes of this second.
Well, he's a really experienced campaigner, Paul Hanforth. Played Super League for Wakefield and Castleford. He's an Irish international, and his kicking game could be crucial in this second half, and he's marshalling his teammates at the moment, just directing operations. Here's Craig Potter. Potter plays the ball for this Batley side, who still lead here, despite this stirring comeback in the second half from Halifax. 28 points to 16, the Bulldogs are ahead. Hanforth, back in field to Byron Smith. Just for a moment, the Bulldog supporters behind those posts thought that Smith could find a way through. On the last now, Hanforth will be looking again for another set of six, will he? But no, the ball's been gobbled up. The kick this time, not a good one. It's Penkovic who was there to field the ball.
He just couldn't thread it through that line of Halifax defenders. And Paul Anferth in his kicking game is going to be so important. You also saw that he keeps feeding that ball back on the inside, hoping to find some tired defenders.
Patterson, oh, they're going to get penalised for that, are they? He's going to ask the touch judge, because I think Patterson had come to a halt there, had he? Dave Merrick, the touch judge, just consulting with Matt Thomas and the referee.
So knock on, boys.
Beg your pardon.
Again, you're seeing Halifax players harassing the touch judge. He gets on the floor, Patterson there, and for me, he is pushed out, but the reaction of Patterson to the touch judge, I'm not saying for 1 minute he changes his mind. Daryl Cardis maybe even knocks that ball out. They need to regather the composure, Halifax. They look very frustrated in all areas of the game at the minute.
Well, Halifax have got to put that to the back of their minds. Any feeling of injustice there, because they've got some defending to do now. And Batley, just in the last 10 minutes or so, playing with a bit more confidence again. Here comes Chris Buttery. Buttery, 3 tackles gone, plays the ball. Here's Byron Smith. Smith reversing towards the line and almost there. He's just short. The crowd thought he was there. Hanforth finds Lindsay going for a second try. He too is denied, but Halifax right on their own try line. Hanforth, crossfield kick this time. It's too strong and it's picked out by James Haley, and Haley has an opportunity to run it back. That kick too near the Halifax winger.
But again, Paul Hanforth, he is the calming influence in this Batley side. He's coming up with big plays, and you want your senior players to direct you around the pitch. And this was a really good pinpoint kick. Campbell was the wrong side, but Batley giving away the penalty. Byron Smith is in your picture. You can't believe it. And again, it's for this little second effort, for not letting Gleeson up to play the ball. All the hard work defensively and offensively up the other end of the park, relieving all the pressure. And now Halifax, you don't want them anywhere in your own half.
Well, that's where they are now. The clock running down on them. They still trail here, 28 points to 16 against the side third from bottom. Looking to go level on points at the top of the table with Barrow, who lead the Cooperative Championship, and Whitehaven. And Royston, hero at one end just a short time ago with that tackle. Plays the ball close to those posts. Bezic back in field to Cherryholm. Cherryholm, good offload to Black. Black pumps the ball for Larder, and Larder gets a second. Dave Larder with what could be a crucial try for his side. They'd weathered the storm up the other end of the field. They get the penalty and they come down, and somebody has said something.
Don't need a little push, that's it. Come on.
And David Wrench just being asked maybe to calm down, because tensions are running very high in this game. There is so much at stake.
The weight of possession and the position of the field means Halifax, if they can keep the ball alive, can find some gaps.
The conversion successful from Lee Patterson. 50 points in the game, and 44 of them have been scored at that end of the ground, at the bottom of the slope. So 44 of the 50 points scored at that end of the ground.
David Larder just runs a good line. He has to be brave and he has to be strong. Good leg drive and good grip on that ball. They've made the most of that field position. Whenever they get over the 30-metre line and get within a scoring chance, you feel that they can do it.
Matt Callan just sending instructions via Damien Ball on the sidelines there. More of that, please. There's Carl Harrison chewing the gum. Still looking pretty calm, but now with just a 6-point lead as Priest gathers that ball. But 44 points at that end of the field out of the 50. That tells you something.
It's down the hill, Bill.
That was an attempted 40-20 from Halifax there. Perhaps realising that as soon as they can get down there, they're going to post some points.
But I think they're going to hunt the mistake here. We saw Said Tanga come up with a big shot before, and I think they're going to back themselves to try and keep that Batley down here. They've got that confidence back in. Now when Halifax are on the roll, they're a really hard team to stop.
Here's Lindsay. Will they rue not going for the 1 point when they had an opportunity a short time ago? Bang in front of those posts. They went for the power play on the last, and it's Mennell who puts the kick in. It's not a good one. Straight to Haley, and then Haley finds Royston.
Hold there, John. Hold there, Brian. Wait, go.
Royston plays the ball. Penkovic finds Cherryholm. Batley's nerves must be twanging now. This lead has been whittled away by Halifax as Lee Patterson takes the tackle. Goddard now. Missed a lot of the start of the season, John Goddard, through injury. Good man to have coming back into your side for the closing parts of the campaign. Penkovic across the field finds Roberts.
And you're starting to see now Penkovic, Gleeson, Benblatt loitering around the play of the ball with intent, because as soon as it's going to be a quick play of the ball, they're going to go and attack.
Bezic's kick, and Priest just has to opt for safety first there, runs that ball into touch, and that's exactly what Halifax wanted. Well, they wanted a try, but they're going to get more possession here.
Ian Priest has no option there. Beautiful kick from Bob Bezic. Ian Priest just chooses to secure the ball. Let's regather, take the scrum, and hopefully try and defend. Byron Smith's just down on the floor. Takes his position in the scrum. Can Batley hold out?
Ben Black now. Black taking him on, and Black almost through. And they're right on that try line. Again, the Batley defence holds firm. Right on the line. It was Royston who tried to crawl his way through, really. Here is Bezic now. Bezic. Live with the tackle. Stenchen, I beg your pardon.
Just watch Gleeson's head. He's twitching from side to side. Having a look at all the options available.
Tamgart in under the posts. Said, the crowd chants. And the French international, who was a thorn in the side of the Bulldogs in the first half, has come up with a try that he richly deserves. His 12th of the season. There's nothing subtle about this guy.
Well, we said when Bob Bezic put this kick in and Ian Priest ran out with the ball, could Batley hold them out? The answer is no. A good strong line off a nice short pass. And there's nothing delicate about what Said Tamgart does there. He gets the ball and runs as hard as he can. Halifax are back in this game.
Lee Patterson converts that one. Another success with the boot from him. 28-6 it was at half-time. 28-28 the scoreline now. And Matt Calland, well, a lot happier now. Still plenty of time in the game. Carl Harrison still looking pretty calm.
Sean Penkovic is a threat every time he has hold of the ball. You don't know what he's going to do, whether he's going to take it on, whether he's going to come up with that pass, but you've also got to be aware of where the dummy runners are going to be as well. Said Tamgart hit a real good line. Dominic Maloney's added a lot of punch since he's got back onto the park, and you can see him straight behind the acting halfback, looking, probing. Bob Bezic again. This is where they're really strong, and this is where Batley now must focus on this defensive effort.
I'll tell you what, there have been 2 draws already this season in Cooperative Championship. Oh, Tamgart has blotted his copybook there with that knock on, and Priest runs it back. And Batley have been involved in both those draws, both against Gateshead. 20 all here, and then I think it's 34 all up at the Thunderdome.
Tamgart doesn't catch that ball cleanly. It bounces off his chest. Good catching technique would tell you to catch with your hands first, and pull it away from your chest. Batley get the ball back. There's still points in this game, Bill. Tez, if you had to put your money on either side, which one would you think could come out on top here in this game?
Well, if they can hold this set now defensively, if they can stay strong, Halifax, I've got to say Halifax, by the way, the speed at which they're playing the game.
Here's Byron Smith coming up to 5 minutes to go. So much at stake in this Cooperative Championship. There's probably a host of teams watching this one and willing one side or the other on. Whitehaven and Barrow and the other sides in the top 6, urging Batley on down at the bottom. Gateshead and Lee wanting Halifax to get home here tonight. It really is an incredible competition. Just the 11 teams in it, and you'd think it was on a par with one of the Premier League tries, and Morn has come in with the try. Morn has come in with the try, but has he?
Matt Thomason, he wants to look at something. He's just looking at the ground.
He's got that down.
Bangs that ball down. That's a meat pie.
Quick decision from Robert Hicks. The try is given. All that hard work from Halifax, and Danny Morn has crossed for the try, his 10th of the season.
I actually meant to say that I think Batley will win the game, Barry.
Good hands here from Batley, and they're just having a crack at the line. They know that Halifax are committed, and Danny Morn takes that impact, puts the ball in his outside arm so he can absorb the collision. Hand off one, absorbs the collision, gets the ball out. Look at Carl Harrison.
Worth coming all the way back. He might have got his kicks on Route 66 recently, but he's getting plenty of them this evening here. And from the touchline, Mennell has missed with the conversion attempt, but his side are back in front by 32 points to 28.
They've had to withstand an awful lot of pressure in this second half. Matt Callum will not be happy with that. His Halifax team have really got back into the game, but Carl Harrison will be happy. Danny Moore has come up with big plays in this game, putting a lot of pressure on the opposition. And again, Halifax go for the short play.
Not a good one. They weren't able to contest that.
Well, they've kicked it to probably the most safest hands. Ian Priest, the fullback, come up into the line. They knew the Halifax would go short. What's Halifax got left in the tank?
They need to get a hold of the ball. Still time. But they trail here 32-28. They've dominated this second half. They've clawed their way back from 28-6 down to level it at 28-all, and then they've conceded another soft try. It's been their Achilles heel this season.
Next tackle.
There's a player flat out in back play for Halifax. Play continuing on the last little kick ahead. And it's fielded by Goddard. Now then, will the referee call a halt to proceedings because the player hasn't moved? He's got to.
Very sensibly there.
Is it Prenkovic?
Oh, he's just twitching. It is. Just can't quite see there, Bill, who it is.
I think it's Bowman.
It is.
Yeah.
Bowman goes in. Maloney, I think it is his own teammate who's clocked him with the elbow.
About 2 minutes.
I think it's the younger one, isn't it? That's Anthony, yeah.
You can see Maloney going in to dominate that tackle. He's clocked his own teammate. Knocked him clean out.
Cheers, Rob, that's good work, that. Thanks very much.
Oh, Matt Callum can do without that.
The medical staff are quite worried here. They're starting to put the neck brace on. Stretcher is ready. They're supporting that neck.
No penalties.
This game's still finely balanced. There's 3 minutes left.
The clock stopped.
I know you swapped, Tez, and you went from Halifax to Batley, your glory grabber.
Penalties, yeah?
I think Halifax have got another try in them here.
Ash, no daft penalties.
I didn't swap, I actually just said the wrong team.
Well, play held up while young Bowman is treated and carried from the field. As ever, the physio team's taking every precaution.
Just watch him. Just the left arm of Dominic Maloney.
He runs onto his elbow. Maloney's elbow comes round. There you go. Welcome to rugby league.
17 years of age.
3 minutes dead.
Here's Shad Royston pacing as they still wait for Anthony Bowman to leave the field. And does this pause in the proceedings hinder Halifax, because it's just obviously brought things to a halt, and there was a bit of impetus there.
To be fair, both teams will be just looking at the stretch at Anthony Bowman and making sure that he's okay. They don't want to start the game if there's going to be a problem.
You know, rugby league is a high contact collision sport, and unfortunately lots of players at some point in their career, pretty much most of them are going to take some form of bang or bump or injury. Carl Harrison very concerned, even if it's a Halifax player, if it's a member of your team or the opposition, you have the utmost respect for them.
Well, this is a young man who's has great potential, as Wigan Warriors, I think, spotted, and he was in fact offered trials by them, but opted to try his luck with his hometown club.
A lot of class there from the rugby league as a family. We just wish all the best. Hope Anthony Bowman makes a quick recovery.
Well, that's got to be a spur for his teammates as well, because they'll carry that stretcher right through the Halifax players, right past the ruck there.
Come on, boys, switch back
and they'll know, listen, let's do it for him.
And that is a wake-up call, isn't it? When you look at your teammate being stretchered off, you do want to put everything in and try and come up with that winning formula.
First tackle, play the ball.
They've got the ball when play resumes, Halifax, but they're on their own 10-metre line. The Batley Bulldogs hunting them down,
Hold, wait, go.
trying to prevent them getting anywhere near their line from threatening this slender lead.
They need one of the big enforcers to come up with a big drive and play that ball as quick as he can. Here he is, can Saeed do it?
Tamgart, and looking to offload, which he does, and then Gleeson gets the ball wide to Black. Black will take him on, and Black finding a way through. No, Simpson gets a hold of him.
Oh, go. Come.
Larder now, here is Gleeson. Both sides must be tired now. We thought that Batley might just get weary. The first side to crack, a little chip ahead, and back goes Lindsay, and Lindsay collars that ball. Great work from Ash Lindsay, and he's still going.
Oh, no penalties. Oh, go.
Lindsay plays the ball slowly. Here's Johnny Campbell. Campbell
Second.
tackled on the halfway line. That's the second. Referee telling him to get to his feet.
Go.
He does so.
That's your fair surrender.
Oh, Mark Barlow now on the 40-metre line. Byron Smith. Smith has lost that ball. It's gone backwards, says the referee.
Come on.
Halifax have to get their hands on this ball.
Go.
A set of 6 only takes just over 30 seconds, Bill.
Oh, that's a great ball from Hanford to Barlow, and Barlow has slipped. And Barlow's lost the ball.
Royston's got it back, Bill.
Royston has picked his pocket.
Are we going to see a dramatic end? And there's a penalty.
Barlow wouldn't let him go. So Halifax, as we enter the last minute here, have the penalty.
Shad Royston nicks that ball.
I'm talking to you.
Can they capitalise on this? We're into the last minute of this Cooperative Championship 1 thriller. Another Thursday night thriller here. And Batley, the side third from bottom, are hanging on here for 3 valuable points as Penkovic goes across the field. Halifax desperate for the win. They'll get a bonus point as the things stand at the moment, but that's no good to them. They're still hoping to get top spot, but their chances are fading now. Batley desperately defending on the halfway line, and Ashley Lindsay with another great tackle on Patterson. Could have been penalised there, but Black makes the first inroads into the defence. Coming up to 10 seconds to go here. It's surely going to be kick and chase now from Halifax. Gleeson gets the ball away to Black. Black to Tamgart.
Whoa,
that was forward. That's the game. That's the game. And Harrison celebrates. He's been all the way from Chicago to LA, but it's back here in Batley that he's got his thrills tonight, because his side have pulled off one of the shocks of the season, beaten 72-0 the last time they met this Halifax side. They've beaten them tonight by 32 points to 28 to give themselves a vital lifeline at the bottom of the field. But what has it done to Halifax's chances at the top? Well, let's hear from the hog himself. Here's Carl Harrison talking to Ben.
Carl, did you fear that you'd given yourself too much to do at half-time?
Oh, no. I thought we were in control at half-time. I thought we played, pretty good, but, Halifax are a good team. They've got a roll on and put under all kinds of pressure. At the end there, we played for the 80 minutes, dug in. We were back against the wall, and Morna came up with a great try, to snatch it for us in the end.
You'd built a lead at that break, then Halifax roared back. It looked like they had the momentum at that point, and then you just pinched it at the end.
Oh, I don't know about pinch it, It's a game of 80 minutes, we scored 32 points to their 28, First half we were superb. Second half, Halifax got a roll on. And I've just said, but we dug in there. Defensively, we thought we were okay. A couple of calls went against us, but in the end, we sneaked the result.
Approaching the business end of this season, how important are those 3 points tonight?
Oh, it's huge, It's the first thing I've said to the guys today was, this is a game, we have to win tonight, both Lee and Gates are down there with us, and it's got to go to the last game, It's not other teams now. We got to Featherstone in a couple of weeks, Look forward to playing against Darrell and his troops, but, we put a bit of pressure on Gates and Lee tonight. You've
had the relaxation of a couple of weeks on Route 66. How did that compare to the tension of tonight?
Oh, totally different, I can show you. it's a very, very mentally draining game tonight. You know, I've kept in touch with the guys while I've been away on holiday. Trained ever so hard since I came back on Sunday evening, and they've got the reserves they have tonight.
Congratulations, Carl, well done. Let's bring in tonight's man of the match, Ian Priest. Ian, there, congratulations, there's the champagne that goes with that. The relief there that you shared with your coach and the relief around this stadium just shows how important that result was tonight.
Yeah, it was very important, but we had the belief all the way through the week. The training were good, the preparation were good. And I think it was our game to lose, really, to be honest. So,
you've claimed some memorable scalps on this ground already this year, but how important is that and claiming the result against Halifax?
That's a big, you know what I mean, it's a big scalp for us, to be honest. We've got to build now for Featherstone away, you know what I mean. We need another couple of points from there, and then we go on, you know what I mean. That's it, and we're safe, I think, from there onwards.
And of course, it's a Halifax team that beat you 72-0 at the Shea earlier in the year. Was that talked about at all, revenge, before tonight?
No, I won't talk about it at all. We knew we had to build from that game, and we've built all the way through the year now. So I think we've done all right. We've just got to build again, you know what I mean, for the last game of the season.
Congratulations, Ian. You are tonight's man of the match as well. You've already got the champagne. You've also got £100 to give to the charity of your choice. Where's that going, please?
Brendan Rooney Fund.
Thanks very much. Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
So the Brendan Rooney Fund doing very well out of the Cooperative Championship. Another £100 going to that very worthy cause, and another 3 points going to the Batley Bulldogs cause in the Championship. 32-28, and there's how it affects the table. Batley moving up to 7th place in the table, and Gateshead now with work to do to get out of trouble, but Lee aren't safe yet, and Halifax stay in 3rd place. They do pick up a bonus point, but their chances of taking that top spot are fading now, and it looked as though they were going to take the points. They were coming back strongly, but then Batley never gave up.
No, and they only scored 1 try in the second half, and this is what sealed the win. Danny Maughan, he played really well, and that man Priest passes him the ball. He's just too big and too strong to get over there, and it's just because they wanted it, and the defence in the first half was absolutely sensational. I thought that they really turned up, and they made more breaks. They made 16 breaks in the game, Batley. You would never afford that against Halifax.
And that is Batley's first victory over Halifax on this ground since 1977, when they won 7-5 on a presumably miserably cold December day here. Well, Halifax, 5 defeats in a row, and Barry was speculating that the wheels hadn't come off, it was just a slow puncture. It's now looking as though maybe they do need to go to the mechanics.
Well, they've got to look to what's within, haven't they? They've got to come up with something, and they've got to get together as a team and say, why are we going on? Because defensively, they've not turned up. Offensively, they're the best team in the competition. They've scored more points than anybody else, and Halifax will come strong, go the playoff time.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, they're going through their crisis at the moment, but there's still a long way in the season to go. Those playoffs still to come. But there's more live action to come on Sky Sports.